Hi, Eric Lanask with TMC and WebRTC World. We're here in Atlanta, Georgia, on the eve of WebRTC Expo, and I'm speaking with Kevin Cook. Kevin is President and CEO of Dialogic. Kevin, welcome to Atlanta. Thanks for joining me.
Great. Thanks a lot, Eric. It's great to be here.
So as I mentioned, we're here on the eve of WebRTC and WebRTC Expo, and really with Dialogic's heritage, having been in the real-time communications game for such a long time now, WebRTC seems a logical extension or a next step for what Dialogic is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, we've had a real-time communications platform for quite some time now, and thousands of developers around the world have used that platform to develop a lot of value-added services, both end users developing them as well as application developers, enterprise, now communication service providers, and we're seeing more and more Tier 1 service providers as well that are very interested in how WebRTC can help them, either lower costs, but certainly generate revenues as well.
And what kind of response are you seeing to date regarding your activities around WebRTC?
Yeah, it's, we really jumped into it as the whole thing started going, with Google and Cisco and everybody and opening up the standards, and we saw it as a natural fit for us, obviously. So a lot of our customers, move from one platform to the next kind of as the technology evolves, very much a software platform. We have something called Power Media XMS. It's our media server platform that we have about 200 live engagements going on around the world right now from a media server perspective, media processing. About 90 of those are WebRTC based, and we're seeing them really all over the world. It's not a U.S. phenomenon or an Asia phenomenon. We're really seeing this in all parts of the world. And so we see, obviously, for Dialogic being the media server engine that can really help these firms, do a lot of the things, the interworking and the transcoding and the recording and a lot of the things that are a little more difficult to do, if you will, and something we've got a great heritage in and a lot of experience around.
So with the traditional communications vendors, the Dialogics and others in the world, as well as the newer startups that are really getting into the WebRTC space, there's an awful lot of media attention, a lot of events like this one forming around WebRTC in the community. What are some of the obstacles or the hurdles that still remain to be overcome?
Well, I think you'll hear me talk about in the keynote something called business useful. It's just something that I kind of hearken to the fact that once these things really get, becoming business useful, these applications that can be used to lower cost or increase revenues, I think you'll start to see things accelerate quite a bit. Some things people may be a little hesitant, is Microsoft going to jump on the bandwagon or other things like that? That's kind of general, but I think they'll come along in time as well. I think this thing has a lot of momentum. We've certainly been involved since the very first WebRTC show as a sponsor. Want to continue to do that and really think there's some legs with this thing.
So you mentioned the ability to increase revenue. Is the ability to monetize WebRTC critical to continued growth?
Well, I think it's absolutely critical, right? I mean, it can help lower costs as well, right? And I think some of maybe smaller businesses or businesses that haven't really got into video conferencing in a big way, this is going to allow them to do that a little bit more easily. You'll see as we talk about some of our customers tomorrow, it was a natural extension for them to add WebRTC to their call center, for instance, and to video enable it through WebRTC. It didn't need new infrastructure and things of that nature. It was a cost-effective way for them to really reach out and begin to add more services to their offerings.
Does the community need Microsoft and maybe a few of the other big names that haven't quite jumped on board yet in order to succeed?
Well, it's an interesting question. I would say probably not. We're seeing momentum already. We're seeing, tremendous interest. We are seeing the major, telephony type people jumping into it, from the large TEMs right to folks, as you said, like Dialogic or other kind of platform providers. So I think it's moving along without them, and I think it'll actually pull them along.
Excellent, Kevin. Thanks so much for joining me. We look forward to your keynote.
Great, Eric. Thanks a lot.